Good morning, team. This is a set of the question paper I collected from ISO 27001 and CISA and CISSP. This is a test for you. You need to pass the exam. If you receive 55 plus marks, then it's excellent for you. And if you received 50 plus marks, then it's average for you. And if less than 50, that means improvement required. Each questions carry 2 marks here, and you can paste your marks in the comments, please. So let's begin the session. Here the question number one. A company disables all USB ports to prevent malware infections. Which risk treatment strategy is applied? Mitigation, transfer, avoidance, and acceptance. So question is asking, right? A USB port is disabled by a company. What are the types of risk treatment it is? As we know, we have multiple types of risk. We have transfer risk, we have acceptable risk, we have mitigation, we have transfer. Which under which category this disabling of USB ports come under mitigation, avoidance, or acceptance? You can mark your uh, actual marks in the comments. And coming to the next question, this is question number two. Which of the following is the best example of the residual risk? Risk before controls, remaining risk after control, risk transfer to insurer, and a risk identified but not asset. Under GDPR, a cloud provider processing personal data on behalf of a customer is typically is it called a controller? Is it called a joint controller? Is it called a processor and a data subject? Here the question number four. A vendor has a valid SOC 2 report but refuses to share the vulnerability assessment results. What is the best action? Accept the vendor because they have the SOC 2 report. Perform risk-based review and request compensating evidences. Ignore the issue and terminate contract automatically. Question number five says which PCI DSS requirement is most directly related on restricting access based on business need to know? Requirement 1, requirement 3, 7, and 11. The question is I'm reading again. Which PCI DSS requirement is mostly directly related to restricting access based on the business need to know? Okay. Under restricting access, what is the requirement number called in PCI? What is the what is the primary objective of a compensating control? Eliminating all risk, replace the requirement with achievable equivalent security, reduce audit scope, and avoidance compliance. Avoid compliance. Question number seven says which risk matrix is the best for risk key indicator for privileged access management? Number of employees, number of privileged accounts without MFA, number of laptops, and a training attendance. Question number 8 says a risk is within approved risk appetite but above operational tolerance. What should happen? Ignore it, escalate to manage properly, close risk immediately, and transfer to vendor. Which of the following provides the strongest evidence of access review effectiveness? Policy documents, signed review records with remediation evidences, training attendance, and organizational charts. What is the greatest risk of the shared administrator accounts? Increased storage, lack of accountability, network latency, and a high bandwidth. 11 question number says that which GDPR principle is violated if excessive personal data is collected? Accuracy, accountability, data minimization, and storage limitation. Here the question number 12. A company stores spend data but does not encrypt it. Which PCI DSS object is impacted? Protect stored account data, security awareness, incident response, and physical security. Which statement is the best describes for inherent risk? Risk after control are applied. Accepted risk and insured risk. Which control type is a SIM alert? Preventative, detective, corrective, directive. And auditor Request evidence of vulnerability management. Which evidence is most appropriate? List of users. Vulnerability can report and remediate records, payroll reports, and asset depreciations. Question number 16 says, which is the best indicator of the third party cyber risk? Vendor office location, external security ratings and control assessments, vendor logo, and revenue size only. Question number 17 says, a risk owner refuses remediation due to cost. What should occur? Close risk, accept without approval, follow governance process for risk acceptance, and ignore risk. Which of the most effective preventive control against credential theft, data backup, daily backup, MFA, log review, incident responses? What is the primary purpose of the network segmentation in PCI? Increase bandwidth, reduce PCI scope and isolate CDE, improve payroll, reducing staffing. Which role is accountable for maintaining the ISMS under ISO 27001? All employees equally, top management with assigned responsibilities, vendors and auditors. Next question is, a supplier process. A vendor process sensitive customer data and experience a breach. What should be the reviewed first? Marketing plan, contractual obligation, and incident notification clause, vendor website, and invoice history. Which is an example of the risk transfer, disabling service, purchase cyber insurance, implementing MFA, encryption of data. Which is the best evidence that a backup control is operating effectively? Backup policy, successful restoration test results, organizational chart, and the training records. Which KPI would best measures effectiveness of vulnerabilities management? Number of employees, percentage of critical vulnerabilities remediated within SLA, office location, and the revenue growth. Question number 25 says, a processor engages a sub processor under GDPR, which is what is generally required. No approval needed. Controller authorization and contractual controls, public and announcement, and insurance policies. What is the most critical objective of a business impact analysis? I identify audit findings, determine recovery priorities and impact, policies creation, and hire staff. Question number 27 is, which control would most reduce ransomware impact? Asset inventory, tested offline backups, password expiration, visitor logs. What is the best response when a critical vendor fails security assessments? Automatically terminate. Risk evaluation, performance and remediation planning, ignore findings and approve exception permanently. Question number 29 is, which concept links risk control assets and compliance requirements together? Asset tagging, GRC governance framework, payroll process, and procurement workflow. Last question is, an organization knowingly accepts a high residual risk without approval. This represents managed risk, governance failures, risk avoidance, and risk transfers. Guys, if you need ISO trainings, third party risk management, PCI DSS, data privacy, SOC 2, SOCs, interview preparations, interview tips, resume structures, you can connect me one on one for your specific support anytime. Or implementation in Archer, you can connect me on grcdecode@gmail.com, and mobile number is 901599777199. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.